I'm back again already. I'm still out running down by the Vietnam Memorial is where I'm at, which is right next to Abe's big chair that he sits in. Old Abe Lincoln. He was a big guy, I think, at least for his time. He was like 6'2", 3'4", something like that. And I remember as a kid studying, like he used to do, Indian wrestling. That's where you lay on the ground and you hook your feet and try to pull the other person down. But what I want to talk about today is, I think this is important. So many of the people that join Let's Go Health, they come and they say they need a grant to do something. They know there's grants to do something and they want a grant to do that thing, whether it's starting a business or whatever, and going to school. But I think that's the way, not the best way to do it. See, and then what I do to satisfy that need, I gather 50 sources for you or whatever that are aimed at that, And then what you have to do is, you go through them so quickly because you say, oh, that's not for me, not for me, not for you, me. And I think that's not the good way to do it. In other words, what you have to do is start learning what the world has. See, I think most of us approach the world, well, I think the world should have the most beautiful blonde-haired woman just for me. And there may be a blonde-haired woman out there, but that may be the wrong question. That's why I used to wear question marks all the time. We're always asking the wrong question. And I think what we have to do is, so like if you're looking for a date, well then it's really not having this criteria already made up in your mind what you think should be the right thing for you, and that's just based on your experience and what you haven't experienced a whole lot. When you see the world of 9 billion people, one person experiences very little of that. So I think the way to find anything out, to find an answer to anything, is just start looking and investigating what is there. So you start seeing the sources that are there, sort of like starting a business. See, what I do in my recent report, I show you, okay, here's the 6 places you should go to start getting information about the kinds of things that are there to start a business. Because there may be something already there that you never even thought of asking about that could start a business. And then plus what you have to do is get other input that people who have done it before and what their experiences are, and see if you go to your state office, they'll have all kinds of things. They'll train all your employees for free. Well, maybe you could start a training business. What happens when you're collecting the information, that expands your mind. Otherwise you're going out there with 1-0 thing that you want. People go to bars and they're looking for that woman or that guy is 6 foot tall and with the captain of the football team or whatever. And then they're there all night and closing time starts happening. Then there's this old country western song called "The Girls All Look Prettier at Closing Time." and that's it. If you're going to wait for your dream person, first of all, that may be the wrong thing to have in mind. And second of all, there's probably better people out there because you don't have enough criteria to evaluate that. And that's the way I think you really get satisfied in life. Plus, it's more practical because you're doing something with something that is there. So you have to be creative enough to go out and see what's out there and how can you use what is out there and available to people who want to start businesses, and what can you do that is in a way of interest to you to get on with life. Otherwise you may spend 6 years looking for that perfect piece of money, and you don't want to do that. I don't think you do. I mean, and then you become an expert on just looking for stuff that's not there. You don't want to do that. You want to, if you have a business, that means you want to help somebody else. And if you want to help somebody else, then you got to start doing that right away, as fast as possible. Not spending a couple of years looking for X million dollars to build your Taj Mahal for the for your business you want to set up. No, you go out and just start helping people today, just today. You know, whatever you want. Somebody wants something, I'll do that for you, and I'll figure out how to do it. Yeah, and that's where you look for a customer. Sure, okay, I'll give you the sources to check, but don't get tied up in that's what you have to have. People who do things in life do it without having the perfect life, without having the perfect tools or whatever. They just get that shit done, and that's what you have to do. If you want to build a life for yourself, that's meaningful for you. Otherwise, then you keep doing it that's meaningful for somebody else. And you use with what you got, and what your research would be, okay, what's out there to help me do something close to that? Because then you can build from that. If you're not good enough to play in the major leagues baseball, well, you're playing sandlot baseball. At least you're playing baseball. And that's what's important. Not figuring out to go to a camp for 50 years to find out how to play in the National Leagues. No, you have to build it. And see, as you're building, you love it because you're doing something you want to do every day. And that's the important thing. And see, that's possible today, tomorrow. You could start that, not the way you want to, but another way, and be in that business or be doing that right away. Even maybe you don't charge money for it, just to see what people will do or how. The magic to anything is somebody gave you all the money in the world, then you'd have to go out and find a customer anyway. See, to me, what you do first is find a customer and do it without any money. Because if you don't have money to start a business, then you're learning who buys your stuff, why they buy their stuff, or whatever. If you have to throw, like the people who used to go in the Super Bowl in the .com days, they used to get a $10 million ad and get only $1 million of a business. Well, they had $10 million, it didn't matter to them. But that's what happens if you have money going to advertise. You'll spend $10 million on ads because you have it and only get $1 million worth of business. That is stupid, dumb, and you'll be out of business, right? So that's why if you don't have that $10 million, you'll figure out, how can I get a customer? If your stuff is good, then you go door to door or website to website or whatever it is in the modern technology to look for people who might want to do this, to buy whatever it is. And that's the important thing. And then it comes from your heart. If you're going to base the decision on what some marketing expert does, or whatever, yeah, he needs money to do it. They're the people who he works for, people with a lot of money. You don't have a lot of money. And if you get a lot of money, it's going to take you months and months and months to get it, or you're going to be in debt, and that's worse. You have a product, you have a service, you go out and start knocking on doors of potential customers. What if the person is a fake? I don't know who, me? A lot of people think that's fine. I got lots to do, and I don't have a lot of time left to do it. God, to think, 77, 50 years ago, when I got out of the Navy or whatever and started building a life, that was fun. It was still fun. And that's why life can be that way. Life can be exciting, but you have to take risks. You have to do so much of it yourself. You have to put in the hard work, the pain, the agony, but that's the fun part, unfortunately, if you're doing what you want to do. You're thinking hard work is something you don't want to do. Yeah, that is hard work, doing something you don't want to do. But if you're doing something you want to do, like you love to play tennis, oh, I love to play golf. I'd do that in the rain, snow, sleet, or hail. I didn't care. I just want to play golf, right? And when I worked for other people, I wanted to have the perfect work environment, right? And I was thinking, God, here's something I'm going to do half my waking life, and I'm miserable. Yeah, if you have 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours in between, and 8 hours of work, that means half your waking life you're in something miserable. So even if you stay that to create income for yourself and be self-sufficient, which is the most important thing, then you have to start building something that you think is important that eventually gets you money. You don't have to make money right away. Oh, that's not good for me because I can't make a lot of money. The people who say you're going to make a lot of money fast are the people that want to get money from you so you can make a lot of money fast. And then you'll wind up not making a lot of money fast, but they will because they got money from you to make a lot of money fast. So take it slow. Think about your heart, and listen to your heart. Start trying stuff. Try, fail. Try, fail. And don't spend money. You have a business you want to start, look at it. Let's go help folks, man. So many of them I know that started businesses with nothing. Or start learning how to sell your talent on gig economy. That way you don't have to worry about being incorporated LLC. And don't worry, don't become an LLC. Don't become a nonprofit. Don't become any of that stuff before you find a place where you're going to get money. The people who want what you do. That's, to me, as you've probably heard me say it before, that's like getting a prom dress before you're invited to the prom. So go out and find customers, find your ideas, don't test it on your friends and relatives. That can be bad, but it's not going to be good because they don't buy your stuff. Test it on potential people. If you're doing videos on YouTube, you're putting up a Facebook page, you do a group on Facebook to see if anybody's interested in this subject, and then figure out later how to make money on it. First, figure out if there's an interest in what you want to do. You may think it's the greatest thing to say, slice bread, but the people out there may not be ready to buy it or buy it that way or whatever. That's why it may take you a long time to figure out how to package what you want to do for people in life, how to package it, how to sell it, or whatever. That takes a lot of trial and error, and there's no shortcut to that. Okay, so don't try to find the perfect program that is going to solve all your problems. It's probably not there. Like find the person to solve all your problems. Probably not there. You find out what's out there and how could you use those tools in our current society to be able to create something that you want to do in life. Find out what's there, and that changes a lot. So, and there's places, and that's why I hope what I'm able to do is show you, hey, you need legal help, go over here. You need this kind of help, you go over there. Otherwise, you're going to Google, and Google's telling you that it's going to cost you money to do any of that stuff. And that's definitely. Well, that's the airplanes. I guess they're warning me that I better be on my way. Got to get home. Got to answer your questions on Let's Go Help. I'm getting behind. I had a babysit this morning, and so I'm going to run home, or actually walk fast home, 3 more miles, and then I'm going to start answering your questions. See you online.